humble communities play host to the greatest cataclysms, misfortunes, and incidents to at any point happen. In that capacity, a lot of little places have gained notoriety for haziness and awfulness. The following are three of the haziest, little settlements whose questionable pasts place them in the set of experiences books directly close to their huge city cousins. Number 3. Pine Ridge, South Dakota. The Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota has been a dark spot on America's record since the time 1890 when it was the site of the scandalous Wounded Knee Massacre. Paving the way to the assault, nearby white pioneers and armed force men turned out to be progressively frightened at the indigenous movement nearby. Their recently framed ghost dance development was viewed as a forerunner to war, thus the U.S. Armed Force endeavored to move neighborhood Lakota individuals and incapacitate them. Pressures were too intense, the demilitarization went sadly amiss, and before the day's over on December 29, 1890, 250 to 300 Lakota men, ladies, and kids lay dead on account of the U.S. 7th Cavalry Regiment. The occurrence has since turned into an image of past government-indigenous relations, an energizing weep for indigenous privileges developments, and a dull mess in American history books. Number 2. Sharpsburg, Maryland. Sharpsburg, Maryland, is a town of just 700 with 281 years of only tranquil history. There is barely anything of note to say about the little town with the exception of one reality. In 1862, it was the site of the single bloodiest day in American history, the Battle of Antietam. On September 17, 1862, Union and Confederate powers met in Sharpsburg and fought from 5:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. In those 12 hours, in excess of 22,000 American fighters passed on. No other day in the country's set of experiences created as numerous setbacks, even in World War II, and that has put Sharpsburg on the map in the evilest of ways. Number 1. Salem, Massachusetts. The most well-known tormented town in America, Salem, Massachusetts. Salem's ridiculous and creepy standing has made it a cutting-edge mecca for Halloween sweethearts and aficionados of the mysterious. In any case, in contrast to Halloween, the occasions in Salem somewhere in the range of 1692 and 1693 were not the fun, perky sort of dim. In January of 1692, the girl and niece of Reverend Samuel Parris of Salem Village turned out to be sick. William Griggs, the town specialist, was brought in when they neglected to improve. His determination of bewitchment set up the powers that would, at last, bring about the draping passings of 19 people. Likewise, one man was squeezed to death, a few others kicked the bucket in jail, and the existence of many was unavoidably changed. In June of 1692, the Extraordinary Court of Oyer and Terminer sat in Salem to hear the instances of black magic. Managed by Chief Justice William Stoughton, the court was comprised of judges and attendants. The first to be attempted was Bridget Bishop of Salem, who was seen as liable and was held tight on June 10. 13 ladies and 5 men from all stations of life followed her to the hangman's tree on 3 progressive balancing days under the watchful eye of the court were disbanded by Governor William Phipps in October of that year. The Superior Court of Judicature, framed to supplant the Black Magic Court, didn't permit ghastly proof. This faith in the force of the denounced to utilize their undetectable shapes or apparitions to torment their casualties had fixed the destinies of those attempted by the Court of Oyer and Terminer. The new court delivered those anticipating preliminary and exculpated those anticipating execution. Essentially, the Salem witch trials were finished. Thank you for watching.